Here's another one of the big uns, folks. Henry's Forest, the 9th episode of the 3rd series based on the magazine stories Clearing Up and the story of the same name written by Andrew Brenner. This is another one of those episodes that gets talked about a lot among the Thomas community, being one of the most iconic episodes and for having some controversy with the Audrey family. But I'll get into that once I go through the plot. Henry has lived on the island of Sodor for many years and would not want to live anywhere else. He likes every part of it, from the flowery fields to the beaches with white sand. But there is one place that he enjoys visiting more than any other: the forest. Henry remembers the day long ago when he and Toby bought some new trees to be planted and Terence and Trevor helped ball them into place. One night, everything changes as a summer storm rages across the island. All the engines are in the sheds talking about the wind blowing outside, except for Henry, who hopes that it will not harm the forest. By morning, the winds have gone, but severe damage has been done to the forest. Henry is sent to help Donald clear the line of trees. The big green engine feels very devastated by all the damage done in his forest and now wonders what will happen to all the animals that live there. Henry's trucks are loaded with logs to be taken to the timber mill, where they will be recycled to become furniture and other things. While Henry is pleased that the wood is being put to good use, he is still sad to lose a section of the place that meant so much to him. Thomas and Toby feel sorry for Henry and wish that there is something they could do to make things better again. Later at the yards, Toby meets the Fat Controller, who notices that the tram engine looks glum. Toby tells him that he and Henry are very sad about the trees, explaining that the forest was a special place to Henry and now whatever is left has been destroyed. The Fat Controller tells Toby that he will soon put things right and sends him to collect some trucks, loaded with small trees all ready to be planted. When Henry returns to the forest, he is surprised to see Terence and Trevor busily helping workmen to plant the trees. Terence tells Henry that they are beginning again and that the hillside will look better than ever before. Now when Henry stops by his forest, not only can he see the new trees growing strong and tall, but the animals are returning to their home. Whatever sounds these woods bring, he is always happy to be here. It's pretty pointless to talk about this episode without bringing up the controversy, mostly with the Audrey family. Wilbert Audrey is known for criticising this episode for his lack of realism. The major flaws he found were Henry's driver letting him stop in the forest without alerting the signalman, also known as Rule 55, paving the way for a severe crash with an unaware locomotive and the number of trees so close to the line that could catch fire from a spark from an engine's funnel. Britt Allcroft, who adapted the episode along with David Mitton, countered the second flaw by claiming that they had seen many other railways that do the same thing. Despite Allcroft countering what Audrey had said, his criticism may have inspired Henry's statement in the 5th series episode James and the Trouble with Trees, about the Fat Controller having trees too close to the line removed for fear that they might cause trouble. But despite the controversy and criticism from Audrey, this is a really beautiful episode. I mean, just look at the forest, it just looks so gorgeous, especially if you're a fan of nature. You can really see how much work went into making this set. Just all those trees and animals that show up on the railway. And it's quite a devastating episode as well, mainly with the storm destroying the majority of the forest. It just makes you feel really sad for Henry when he feels really sad about the forest losing a bit of it. It also adds a new layer to Henry's character. Before this, he was shown as a rather kind engine who had a bit of a bad side to him, mostly due to spending a lot of time with Gordon and James. But this episode shows that he has a softer side to him, a side that loves nature and appreciates the wonders of the forests. It's just a wonderful expansion of an already existing character, adding more layer and depth to him. And the music Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell composed for this episode is just so damn gorgeous. From the dark sounding music that occurs when the storm shows up, to the sad music that plays when we see the devastation of the storm. to the gentle music at the end of the episode where we see Henry's forest grow back. I know I've said this a lot of times, but the two really have outdone themselves with this music for the episode. It's just some of the most charming music I've ever heard for the TV series thus far. It just fills you with so much emotions that you could just listen to it and feel calm and smooth while listening to it. It's just such a great track. And back when I was a kid, I didn't really think that much about it, but the sad music when Henry sees the devastation of the storm in his forest, it actually gets me a little teary-eyed these days. It just shows how powerful music can be in children's TV shows, as well as any other projects. It's just one of the many aspects of the show that I appreciate a lot more as an adult than I did as a kid. Something that I wouldn't have thought twice about as a kid, but absolutely love it as an adult. It just shows how powerful music can be in children's TV shows and any other forms of media, given the right composing team. Most children's TV shows at the time would often reuse the same tracks in each episode, but Mike and Junior went all the way to make special tracks for each episode, and some tracks would even be exclusive to some episodes. These two were composing geniuses. They didn't have to go all out with their music for a children's TV show, but I'm really glad that they did, especially for this episode. It just really shows how much talent the two had, and how they should have been hired to do other projects. Hell, I'd go so far as to say that they should be called to do some big screen projects. Their music is just so impactful at times. Henry's Forest is another one of those episodes that gets talked about a lot among the Thomas community, and with good reason. All those things I've listed makes this one of the best episodes that the TV series had to offer. It's one that I would definitely recommend checking out if you haven't seen it for a while. It's a wonderful story with a great environmental message that isn't shoved down the kids' throats. It makes kids enjoy the forest without shoving it in their faces, and it's definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it for ages. You'll enjoy the beautiful atmosphere of the forest, the beautiful music Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell composed, seeing a new side to Henry, and just the all-around gorgeousness of this episode. It's definitely one of the best episodes the show has to offer.